My first demonstration here is just going to be a single arm or a unilateral landmine overhead press. We're going to do this in a standing position for this video. There's another video that's half kneeling. I think I used dumbbells in that video, but this will be applied just the same way if you opt to use the landmine. So the way we're going to do that, carefully keeping our neutral posture, always lifting things carefully. We're going to lift our weight up till it's in front of us, and then load it over on one shoulder. Now we don't just want to let that passively hang down so that there's no tension on the muscle, but it's all hanging on the joint. We're always keeping that active shoulder position here. We have our neutral grip on the end of our bar. Core is locked in, and all we're going to do is drive that straight up over our head. Control it back down. Again, keeping a little bit of tension down here, not just letting it collapse at the bottom. Pressing straight up, controlling down. Now on unilateral movements, we always want to start with our weak side. So this is assuming that my right shoulder here is either equal to or slightly weaker than my left side. Because once I finish my set of however many reps on this side, I want to switch over to the opposite hand and do the same thing over here. So there's not a whole lot of external factors to pay attention to. We want to make sure we're not leaning down and swinging through the press, keeping everything nice and neutralized as we press that weight up. Now there's also the variation of this where we do maybe a push press, where we're allowing ourselves a little bit more leg movement to kind of explosively push that weight up overhead. Now I left the floor a little bit there. I don't necessarily recommend that. It's more of just an explosive hip and knee extension to get it up and then controlling it back down. This weight's just a little bit light for the proper demonstration. But again, starting with the weak side and then moving over to the stronger side and matching the reps that we did previously. And once we're finished, lowering that weight down to the floor. That is a landmine single arm overhead press and a landmine single arm push press. Now, the same thing can be applied with both arms. In this case though, we just have this barbell. So while you can do it by just gripping the bar with two hands and pressing like this, I opted to get an implement specifically for doing landmine presses with two hands. That is what we call this Viking press over here. So you can see, has neutral grip handles, has your pronated grip handles, and it's made to stick right onto the end of the bar collar. There is a little knob to screw it on tight. I'm not going to necessarily worry about that right now. I think I can handle this and not hurt myself, hopefully. But the same thing applies here. Now, this is something that my clients always have a hard time with, is getting this bar up into our pressing position. We have to do kind of a clean movement, but at the same time, if we just keep it right against us, it's going to pull that bar out of our collar or of our landmine implement. So we want to make sure we keep a little bit of tension in against the bar as we rotate our elbows down underneath. But the same thing applies. Either our regular press, we're just pressing straight up and controlling down. Or if we're opting for the push press, maybe setting our feet back a little bit more, a little bit of knee and hip bend, pop it up, control down. Pop it, control down. Again, keeping pressure in against the bar that way as we lower it back down to the floor. That is the two-arm or bilateral version of the landmine press and landmine push press.